Welcome back to A&E Presents. I'm A.
And I'm E. Okay. So
We're getting so good at this.
it's rolling right out.
Yeah.
So last week we talked about Monsters of Your Kindle Day.
Mm-hmm.
That has since passed.
Yes.
So let's talk about it. How did it go? Did you get anything?
It went, like, way... I think it surpassed all of our expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Like, literally everyone. All of the authors were sharing, like, their accomplishments throughout the day and where they ended up on the Amazon market, like, in terms of categories.
Mm-hmm.
And I myself actually got number 6 in Demons and Devils Romance. I was shook, actually. Like,
Can confirm she was shook.
it's wild because I'm such a teeny tiny little indie author, and to think that 2,000 people clicked download on my book, insane. Like, actually insane. I can't even think about, like, I can't even conceptualize 2,000 people.
Yeah, we had gone to 2 concerts last week, and your wife was like, "Yeah, that's more than people that attended the second concert."
Yeah. So that's wild and insane to think that I was number 6 in a category and that 2,000 people. I want to say the actual website for Monsters of Your Kindle Day reached over 20,000 clicks.
Like traffic.
Yeah. Like, I remember them sharing like,
so then if 2,000, 20,000, so you were 1/10 of
yeah.
the people. That's crazy.
Oh, no. I'm so wrong. There were 20,000 visitors. We had over 70,000 views.
Oh. Interesting. I wonder what counts a view versus a visitor. I guess maybe a visitor has to stay on the page for longer.
Yeah, they might have to, like, click around a little bit.
Because this is what I did. We got off the pod. I downloaded yours immediately. It was already up slightly before midnight. And then a few people didn't hit until 2 a.m. So I added those people to my cart so that I could go back and, like, get it when it went free. I bought the ones that were on my list. Then I think I only went to the page once. I got a little overwhelmed. Went on the Instagram, looked at the tropes that I liked, downloaded books from there, and then called it a day.
I think a lot of people did what you did.
More me as a reader and less like, because I get it, because, like, I'm not into making websites. I think it's just because everyone had their descriptions and some of the descriptions were really long. I get kind of, like, overwhelmed. And for some reason, even though Stuff Your Kindle Day is a whole day and a lot of authors might extend that to longer, I get this, like, Black Friday-esque shopping in my head. And I'm like, too long on the description. Go, go, go. I have to download 5 more. And then I also posted on Threads, and I was like, okay, these are some of the ones that I bought, I got yours, I got Jam Fairies, I got Sabrina's, boom, 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 right out the gate. So I threaded? Whatever, I wrote about it on Threads, and then posted.
Yeah.
Wow. And then someone else was like, oh, you should get mine now. I was like, absolutely.
Yes.
Add to cart.
Yes.
I think I did pretty good this year with not going over. I still have probably 100 from my first Stuff Your Kindle Day where I went absolutely insane. I wasn't even looking at descriptions. If I saw it was free, I was getting it.
Period.
Now I'm being a bit more exclusive with who I download.
Yeah, selective. Yeah. Author Autumn Hawthorne got right next to From Blood and Ash on the Amazon Romantasy.
Period.
I know. Top 100. That's fucking insane.
That's great. Yeah.
I, like, love that for her. Round of applause. But yeah, so it was a great turnout. I think way more than anyone expected. And I'm still riding the high from it.
Yeah.
No one can tell me shit.
Period.
My head is so big I can't fit through doorways.
I've seen it. You're hitting your head on everything.
Bah!
But no, I think it's really exciting. And I think also because, so I don't know, like, what the demographic of people that are going to tune in to this are. So I don't know if we're coming at this if it's more readers or authors, so authors, you already know this, but for a previous reader, Kindle is so weird with like payouts. I'm very lucky, and I mean we're both very lucky because this current wave of authors are so what's the word I'm looking for?
Transparent.
Yeah, transparent. I was gonna say open, same,
Yeah.
I guess. With like talking about that and talk, or at least the groups that we're in, but when you get the download, that's like one like boost where you can see the downloads, but you won't like you get the pay from the page count. So it's gonna be exciting seeing people like start to flip through, and you can kind of like for the books right now. Most of my books are about in between 80 to 140, so I can kind of tell where someone is in the book as well. If I have like a certain number of page counts, I'm like, oh, 2 people are probably in the middle, or like, you know, whatever. So that's like fun too, to start to see people pick it up. I saw someone post on Threads that they had some books that they had listed from Amazon, but because someone had gotten them previously, they still get residual sometimes, and they're like, who had this locked and loaded on their Kindle for 10 years?
Me.
Ready to go.
Yeah.
And I just think it's cool because I also like to check the analytics and see like where people are reading. Like 1 month I had a bunch of people from Australia,
Oh, that is fun.
and I was like, hello. I told anytime I get an Australian reader, I tell myself it's Opal Rain. I know it's not, they can't all be her, but
what if they were? But what if they were on her on different accounts?
The Lulu, stay to Lulu.
Yes.
That's every single time I see Australia, I'm like, and it's only Opal. It's just her.
You know, and that's Opal Rain is one of my favorite all-time authors. I love her down.
And you know, there's a chance that she picked up The Devil's Desire.
I
You never
would
know.
incinerate myself.
But you never know.
But you know, the next time if I ever see someone from Australia, I might think that, and then I'll go, no, you're being ridiculous.
Take a shot for Down Under. Sorry.
Oh,
I've
been waiting for this one.
I
Your reaction. You stay wanting to make enemies with people. Damn.
no, they would understand. But I have been watching Dancing with the Stars. So Robin Irwin and the Irwins have been on my mind.
I love him.
He's so sweet. He
Needs to win.
He's
actually.
21. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Doing all these flips, and no wonder.
Oh my God.
Stop.
You're almost a decade older than him.
I know. I was like, wow, he's so attractive. Why do I feel a parental instinct? And then I looked up his age yesterday, and I was like, he was born in 2003. He's 21.
Yeah.
And I was like, for some reason, don't make fun of me, but for some reason when I was looking at that, I thought I was 27. And I was like, oh my God, I'm 6 years older than him. I was like, no, I'm like 8 years older than him. No wonder that's baby boy. No wonder he's so let me pinch your cheeks.
Stay away from my cheeks.
I would never pinch your cheeks. Your head's too big.
That's right. That's right.
My head can't even fit. But anyway, Dancing with the Stars, Australia, Opal. We're working our way back to Stuff Your Kindle Day.
Yes.
But it was really good, and I really like, again, coming at this as a reader. I really like the themed Stuff Your Kindle Days, even more than just like romance. Because I think it really helps, especially if you are trying to be more curated. Because, like, the romance one was good. Monster is good. You said there was a dark romance one. Yeah. I didn't know about that one until after our episode, so otherwise I would have gotten some stuff. But I like that. I like the smaller bits. I think it's easier to navigate as, like, a reader. I'm reading 2 arcs right now, but when I'm done, then I will be going into what I downloaded on Halloween.
Period.
So, I've already read The Devil's Desire, obviously. I can read it again. I try to do, Miss calling me Miss Rereader, I try to read it at least once a year, as well as reread my own books, just to remember what was going on. And they're short. Well, mine are short. You be yapping.
Yeah, I was talking to my sister about it, and she was like, just how long are your books? And I've forgotten. It's like 200 pages.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me because I'm like, it's like 80.
It's
No.
it's a novella. It's over. It's over 80 whatever. But it's not. It's close to a novel.
I know.
Really close.
And what the water gave, 400 something.
Big, thick.
Dang.
Yeah.
That came out of me. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. You be yapping.
And I'm about to do it again.
Yep. I think that novellas are such for me, I'm talking about me now.
Mm-hmm.
I think novellas are such an interesting because I have, some might say, commitment issues. So I have, this long-term, this long-term work in progress that I cannot seem to finish. And I think it's because, one, I love this book so much that getting to the end makes me, sad. But also, the end feels so far away that I'm like, let me work on these smaller projects. Mm-hmm. But then the end just keeps getting further. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But a novella, I'm like, by the time that I'm getting bored with writing a story, it's time to end it. Mm-hmm. And so I can. I used to, when I was just writing in, my journal or whatever, have a problem with having these big ideas and then shortening them because I got tired. So I think a novella is, a good, sweet spot for me currently while I'm chipping away. I'm kind of inspired by Dakota. I told you about this in our day-to-day life yesterday. But Dakota Cockney, shout out, she's amazing. Very, very, very sweet, very talented. Did Ghost Lake Falls. Okay, done with that. She is doing, instead of the writing thing what we named that normally happens in November, she's doing Normie November, which she actually wrote quite a lot. She's, I think, insane. I think it's safe to say because the amount of output that she does, and she's also really good at staying on top of me and keeping everyone in line and keeping us organized for these projects. But she's doing Normally November, where she's writing a normal, I'm pretty sure human book, but because that's so dastardly, her reward to herself for getting a certain number of page counts is to write some of her unhinged stuff. I think she said mutants specifically.
Period.
So I'm pretty sure she said what this project is, but I don't want to say it just in case. But I think that's really funny, and I kind of want to do something like that where I have to write a certain amount in my longer book before I can write some of my sillier ones, which there's two projects that I have to write. One of the alien one I think might also need to be in there. I have to hit a certain maybe mix count for the whip and for the alien in order to write my fanfic or whatever.
Gifting yourself more writing.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know what else I would gift myself because anything that I'd want to do, I'd just do it instead of writing.
Period.
There has to be some not punishment, but oh my god, I sent you something earlier today. I don't know if you saw it yet. It's kind of long, so I didn't know if you were gonna watch it. But this author, what did she write? Oh no, writer for a movie. The half of it's gay. I don't know if you've seen it. It's lesbian. Very good, very sweet. It might annoy you, but
period.
I really enjoyed it. But she said that I guess the question before the video was how did you finish this or what whatever. She said that she, who does not support the NRA, wrote a $1,000 check to the NRA, gave it to one of her friends, and was like, if I don't write this by I guess whatever time, send this in my name. And the friend said bet, and she said she purposely chose a friend who would actually do it, and so she said she then told all of her other friends about it. So she said for about a month, anytime she would message her friend, she said she sent her friend a reel or a video. Her friend was like, you should be writing. Period. What are you doing on your phone?
Exactly.
And pressured her, and then she got it done, and then the check didn't have to go to the NRA.
Love it.
Someone said you're literally holding yourself at gunpoint, and I was like,
yeah.
I wish that they could see the face.
Now I would never do that.
Yeah.
But you know what? Anything to get it done.
What would you do? Realistically,
I think my own standards for myself are a little bit too high, so that's what keeps me in check. I'm sorry, it's the Leo. She sets these crazy expectations, and the Capricorn, it's got to follow through.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'd use a shock collar on myself or something. I
A shock collar is insane. Back it up, bestie. Back it up.
Well, whatever is wrong with me, I don't have that at all. I'm like, there's the perfectionist part of me, yes, but that's like after, where it's like the critiques come in, and then I'm trying to like make things like look nice, or like the imposter syndrome, and I'm like, oh my god, I should have done this, or like whatever. But that's like once the product is done, then I'm like, oh wow, you really did this, like let's fix that. But while I'm doing it, I'm like, you know what, other people aren't writing at all. You wrote THE on that page. Success queen, success mama. Like, I'm way too lax with myself while I'm doing it. And then my expectations are so high that I know that they're attainable. So I'm like, anything less than that is just like, all right, I did it. Like, every single time I write something, I'm like, this is a movie. Someone's about to pick this up and film it right now.
I also think that.
But if it doesn't, like, I want to press submit to KDP. Within a day, go viral. Everyone loves me.
Yes.
I'm getting interviews.
Yes.
They're making it into a movie.
Yes.
The movie star is really hot. And they're like, you know what? You should star in this movie, actually. Yes. And that's why all my characters are plus size, or at least in that realm. Just in case casting, I want to make it easier for you. Not really, not, you know, there's some variety. But
hey, if Hank Green can be in his own movie,
Stephanie Meyer was in Twilight, but I'm taking the lead. I don't care if the character is younger than me.
Lin-Manuel Miranda
that's
yourself.
True. So I'm like, that if that doesn't happen within a year of me publishing the book, then it's fine. Like, that's just like, it's either that and it's published. Those are the two bars.
Yeah. I always think about how Ruby Dixon was writing Ice Planet Barbarians just for her and herself. And was like, yep, and this is my own little fantasy world, and no one, like, really knows. And then, poof, overnight, it was, like, a sensation. It was a hit. That first book blew everyone's minds.
I saw a quote that was like, I'm sure it's like a known thing, but they're talking about Ayo Edebiri, and they were talking about how it takes 10 years to be an overnight success.
Yes.
And obviously we know that's true in like films, because you'll like find, let's just say Superman, David Cornsweet, whatever. Superman, we're like, oh my god, it's so great, and then you're like, oh, he was in Pearl, oh, he was in The Count of Monte Cristo, oh, he was in that, like, then you start like seeing them, and
hell,
you're like,
Sabrina Carpenter.
Yeah.
Been in the game for 10 years. Yeah. And then with Short and Sweet got, it was with Emails I Can't Send, got the best breakout star, or like newest person or whatever. And she's like, I've been here actually. But now she's like insane, and she's like a household name, and her music is absolutely everywhere.
Yeah. I feel like, and you were with me for at least two of these, I have a knack of finding someone in the sweet spot of like unknown but just about to be really big. So like if they have an underground album, maybe I missed like that and like an EP, and then I come in at the album right before they get big, and it both makes me feel very validated in the like, I'm a pop culture girl, I know, I see things,
yes,
but also angry, because I'm like, oh,
who are you people?
Yes, who are you people? I liked her before you. Give me the tickets. This is our biggest flex, I think. I was gonna say as a couple, as a friend duo, as a couple of ladies. We got to see Chapel Rowan on Halloween night, like I'd say 2 months before she blew up.
Yeah.
If that.
And act like she don't know no one.
Which was great. It was a great show. And she had local drag performers beforehand be her opening, and we all were dressed in costume. You thought she was blonde.
Well, because she was dressed as the bunny Regina George.
Yeah.
And so she wore this long blonde wig. And me, I should have known it was a wig because wig.
Yeah.
But
when we wear wigs.
but I was like, oh, okay, so she's blonde. And then my wife proceeded to steal that story from me.
Yeah. She loves to do
Rude.
that.
But yeah, I did think she was blonde. And then I looked her up online and I was like, oh, no, curly red.
Like, vibrantly red, yeah.
Yes.
Which is not her natural hair either, so, you know.
I don't care.
But
I'm not a natural green either. Who'd
Aw.
the thunk?
Oh, I thought. What I think is funny is I went to a Halloween party this past weekend, and one of the girls I was telling someone about the going to see, and my other good friend who was there was like, one of my biggest life regrets is that someone offered me a free ticket to that show and I said no, and I was like, well, that's kind of how I feel about Renee Rapp.
Yeah.
But that's more so in a... Okay, hear me out. Follow me down this path.
I have no choice but to.
So, Cynthia Erivo. We're not going to go into that. But just that name. That means something to us.
Yes.
Even Ethan Slater meant something... Like, we knew that name before Wicked the movie.
Yes.
Also, just Wicked in general. I already talked about this on someone else's podcast, and I will not dive here. But... It's been known.
Yes.
It's nothing. Same thing with Renee.
Yes.
So, for her to now move from, like, a musical YouTube darling, like, a lot of people have seen her covers by the piano, even if you don't realize that's her. And then she did The Secret Life of College... The sex life
of college girls.
I was going to say The Secret Life of College Wives.
Yes.
But, which I remember when I saw her cast on that, I was like, oh my god, I want to support my musical theater girl that I know. And then, you know, the Mean Girls movie, and now she's like this big pop star. So a lot of people are like coming in either because of the Mean Girls movie or because of her success with this new couple albums. And I'm like, y'all don't even know. Y'all weren't there. You don't know the lore. You're about to find out the lore.
And when they do, they get mad.
Yeah.
And I'm like...
Yeah. That's kind of, again, with Cynthia, I'm going to dip my toe in. I'm going to dip back out. When Ariana was having her thing happen, and then people were like, I wonder, like, her and Cynthia. And I'm like, girl, you don't know about the Twitter page. You don't know about her can't keep up. We've been holding space. This isn't new. But dang, that girl can sing.
Yeah.
Excellent performer in that little tiny body.
Yeah.
Where are you reading anything right now?
What?
I haven't done improv in a minute.
Girl, I'm like on the edge of my seat. I'm like waiting. I'm like, yes. What is our next topic? Tell me. What is our next topic?
Well, I'm currently reading it. I'm just kidding. You're writing. You're writing.
I am
You're
writing.
editing.
Unfortunately, I have not taken the space to read. And it's something, and it's the little gremlin in my brain. It's the little devil that lives there. And, she just doesn't want to read.
Your productivity gremlin, or...
No, my productivity gremlin that's, like, keeping me writing is, she's full send. She's full go. But the one that wants to, like, read, like, sit down and read and, like, have an attention span, no.
That's okay.
No, she's dormant. She's asleep.
Everyone gets mad at me whenever I say that I'm in a reading slump, because for me, a day without reading...
Is a reading slump?
Is the beginning of a reading slump.
I reread the beginning of this year.
Oh, yeah.
Hunger Games, you know this. Because I originally read the Hunger Games in middle school, and, like, I only, like, halfway knew what was really happening. And so I, like, went back and, I, like, annotated the hell out of it, and I, like, tabbed it, and I, went through the original trilogy. You could not hold a gun to my head for me to read ballads, Love and Light. And then I started to make my way, oh my god, it's literally in the bag right next to me. I started making my way through Sunrise, and I was spoiled for it, which is fine. I'm still going to cry like a little baby.
We literally had this talk last night. We're both...
Yeah.
Big
but
spoiler, girls.
I got to a big point in the book, and I literally had to put it down, and I have not picked it back up since because emotionally I have not recovered. I fear I will never recover.
Yeah.
And eventually, when I do see the movie,
yeah.
oh my god, it's gonna be like Avengers
I want to
Endgame
see
all
it
over
with
again.
you, but I don't want to see it with you.
I'm gonna have to bring a box of tissues with me, which is exactly what I did for Avengers Endgame.
And like a plush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be waterworks. So that's all the energy I've had to read this year.
You can sit on the end, because I know you would be squeezing me.
I'll just sit next to my wife. It's fine.
Yeah. I wonder if because that reread was so intense, because like you said, you were like writing and annotating. Like, I think that what you guys are picturing when we say annotating is like the cute little tabs and like a couple highlights.
I'll take a picture.
I'm talking dissertation.
I'll pull up a picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you were working on your master's in the Hunger Games.
Yes, I was.
Yeah.
Graduated with a PhD.
Yes. And I mean, because you started it the beginning of last year, or the ending of last year, and then it led into the beginning of this year. So for 3 months, we as a household, when we were all talking, did not talk about anything that wasn't Hunger Games, or not relating it back to Hunger Games.
Yes.
And if it wasn't Hunger Games, it was Nosferatu.
Yes.
So those were the topics of the house.
Yes.
So I'm wondering if that was so intense that, like, you're, like, reading and it's like, we're covered. We did that.
I mean, I still read fan fiction.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. You know you can log some fanfics on Goodreads.
I know, and I have.
Okay.
And I have.
Okay. My bad.
You best believe. I also know that you can log manhwa and manga on Goodreads.
Some webtoons as well.
And I have also done that as well.
Yeah.
5 stars.
And see, in the reverse, I haven't been as, like, into, like, there's a few webtoons that I let finish, which I'm talking webtoon on, like, the actual webtoon site. I'm not talking about, that I've let finish. And unfortunately, if you don't catch it before they finish, which, artists get your bag, then you have to, like, do the daily pass, and I would rather die than remember to read 1 episode a day. So my problem is usually I catch up, and then maybe I, like, if it's on hiatus, then obviously I'll switch to a new one, and then I'll let, like, episodes or chapters accumulate, and I'll come back. But I spent so long out of it that a lot of my stuff ended, and now they're all, like, on the daily pass, and we're poor, so we would have to do the, like, 1 coin a day daily pass, and I can't read 1 at a time. I need to binge it. It's driving me insane. So I haven't been doing my, like, long fanfics. I only read 1 this year, and it was my little series. But I've been doing a lot of one-shots because for that, my attention span. And I think that is where it's not the reading, it's not the writing, it's the reading that my, like, you have to reach a goal mindset is mindset. Because I'm like, you can't log this on your the one that I'm, the ones that I'm looking at, because they're on their Goodreads, so it doesn't count to your reading goal. And I'm trying to outdo what I did last year, which means I have to read 60 books in the next 2 months, which I probably can. Yeah. 30, if I'm reading short ones, that's fine. But I'm trying to get all of the Goodreads bookmarks goals this year, and I read 270 books last year, and I'm at 210. And one of the goals is you have to outdo what you did last year.
That's tough.
So I have to do 271. And who cares? No one. I care. No one is, like, saying you have to read this, or, like, Yeah. But I care. It's a nice flex for myself, because I also don't like to talk as much about how quickly I read anymore, because people would get mad at me. Or, like, they're like, you can't be absorbing. And I'm like, what if this is my hyperfixation and I'm mentally ill? Yeah. What if I love stories because then I don't have to deal with life? Yeah. And now I'm writing them, and I'm like, damn, I wish this bitch would have this book done so I could read it.
That's the biggest thing. Yeah. Writing your own book so you can go back and read it.
Yeah. Because at least for me, the whole reason I want this book is because I want it to be out there because it's a story that I care about.
Yeah.
And then anyone else that reads it is like a bonus. And like, oh, cool, I get to share this with someone. But it sucks when it's half in my brain. But also, I know this is a good, I think, segue. But I know for you, for your books, we talked about how personal it was. And it is also hard to give that to other people. Like to have it in a book and have other people read it. Because they do live in your brain. Do you think you're going to have that same issue with this next book?
No.
Period.
No.
You're like, take them from me.
Well, not necessarily. It's just, I think the first book, when I was writing it... So, okay. My very, very first book,
The Devil's Desire, which was famously number 6 in the Demons category, Devils.
And this
in case
is
you
why
forgot.
you double as my manager. That one I wrote based off of a dream. And... Stop it. And it, like... I don't know. I put it out there, and I was like, period, and no one else is going to read it, and this is, like, just for me. But then the second one, the first, in the Unseelie Love Story, What the Water Gave, that partially spawned from a dream, but also partially was just pure my creation. And, like, I was creating the characters from the ground up, the world from the ground up, versus a lot of the things from my debut, they already exist. I was raised Catholic. This stuff is, like, ingrained into my blood, like, unfortunately.
The blood of Christ.
Which is mentioned in The Devil's Desire. You should read it. But, like, all of that was already there. So, like, for What the Water Gave, that was, like, all my brain. I was creating the magic system. I was creating the world, around it. So I guess maybe it's just a little bit more special to me in that way.
Yeah.
Of, like, actually creating literally everything. And then book 2, we dive a little bit more into that world because book 1 is, he's very isolated. So you don't get to see really the rest of the Fae world except for, like, a couple chapters. And so this one, like, it's a lot more fun. So it's not as serious in my brain.
Yeah.
Not to say that you can't be fun and, like, also have meaning, but just the first one was just so much deeper to me, I guess. And then these characters, they're goofy, they're silly, my FMC is very accident prone. Yeah. So I just got to have a lot more, like, wiggle room. Yeah, a lot more whimsy. I'm excited for them to live in other people's heads.
One, they're not real children, so I feel like it's okay to have a favorite.
I do.
I as well. Well, it flip-flops. I think I said this on the last pod, where I was, like, 110% on Team Gordy, and I still am. But Joanne is, like, growing on me.
Yeah.
The rest of them are my, redheaded stepchildren, where, like, y'all are cool, and I love you. Like, I got to see Christina Lauren do a talk a year or so ago, and they were talking about their favorite characters, and I think it was Christina that said this, that she's like, while I'm writing, that is my favorite character. Like, any book that I'm writing, that is my favorite character, and then the next book, that is my favorite character. And I kind of get that in terms, we talked last time about all my pans, all my things on the stovetop. I'm not as, like, deep into any of the, like, novellas to, like, want to go, like, when you start writing and then you're building the world and then all of a sudden you hit this, like, oh, I need to sprint, like, bit, and you're like, oh, I'm, like, need to finish this, like, oh, I'm so excited. All of these are kind of, like, more spurts. I haven't, like, found one where I'm like, I'm gonna sprint and finish this exact whip.
Yeah.
Obviously I have the big whip. The big whip. I don't want to give name because that title is, like, changing, and I don't want people to fall, like, the people in my real life already are attached to the fake name, and the fake name is not staying. I don't want it, but that's what I'm not saying. It's just the big whip. But
I mean, I know you don't like it, and I know it's going to change, but in my brain, I just know that,
it's
like,
that forever.
one day, like, someone's gonna ask, and I'm just gonna, like, name drop that, and they're gonna be like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, oh.
Like, I discovered her before she was big. I knew about
that. Yes.
Yeah, all of my friends call it by the fake name because that's what I was calling it, and we haven't moved, so I don't want to say it. But I love Gordy and Joanne so much, and I want to write them into everything, and I'm, like, trying to, like, bend over backwards to, like, how can I put these cameos into these next 2 books. And so, like, for them, I think it's fun that other people have them because I want other people to fall in love. When I was writing Planted, I was in love with those characters. Now that is out of me, they're off in their own thing. They went back to Ohio or, whatever I put them.
That's crazy.
And
I think about Duke at least once a week.
That's so funny. Duke was... Okay, so... Gordy was so fun to write in that he's so silly and dumb that, like, I was able to just be really... And you've experienced that because you've been writing a himbo. You just can kind of let yourself go and be, like, silly and, like, it's not mean-spirited, but they're, like, they can ask the questions that maybe, like, your other characters would spend 10-page, like, contemplating and can I say that, blah, blah, blah. So they're just really fun to write. Duke, I had a really hard time with balancing, like, okay, is he a bad person? Is he evil? Did Gordy just think he was evil? Is, like, he actually an asshole? Like that. So I was a bit more stressed writing him, and it was still fun because he is Gordy is not mean-spirited. Maybe he can say something asshole-ish without meaning to, and I also put a himbo into Planted because I just couldn't stop myself. And that himbo was also, like, mean-spirited, not on purpose. More in, like, a jock way. But Duke, he's just a catty gay at the end of the day.
And I love it.
I have been trying to think, because I did send them away. So most of the Hornicopia, as it stands right now, takes place in New York, and they're not in New York.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but how could they come back? Let's get the gang together. So I'm trying to figure out.
I love the let's get the gang together moment.
It's so fun. I was going to say, reading, trying to think of the best non-spoilery way to say this. You said this on the last pod, so I'll say this. There's some crossover scenes in book 1 and book 2 for what the Water gave in this next project. That was fun as a reader because I personally, I was trying not to go back and read the first book just so that I can give you, like, the fair chance of reading it, like, as its own work. But there's one particular scene that I did go back, and it was really fun because the way that Bal and Edith are perceiving that scene and then the way that it is in this one are very different. And, like, what they're thinking the other people say, because I eat that stuff up. The Big Whip has, which, this is, like, 4-person POV. Crazy. Wild. But also really fun because I love to write scenes where one character thinks, like, this other person is, like, hates them and they're doing this and they're conspiring against them. Then you switch into their POV and they're like, I love this person. We should all be best friends. They're so cool. And then you go into a third POV and they're like, that person is evil and the only person that cares about me is person number 1. And you go into POV 4 and that person doesn't know that any of this is going on. And so, like, I love doing, like, so-and-so did this, which obviously means that, and then switching POV, and the person being like, I would never mean that. It's really fun. I'm trying not to overdo it, but it's hard when you have 4 people that are so... I love them. I love this so much. They're so stupid, though, when it comes to emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
What do you think is the best way to get the gang back together? Like, as a reader, that you're like, yes, that is satisfactory. I know that's hard, because that can mean so many things.
Honestly, there's no reason for me.
You just want it.
I just want it. And I'm gonna name drop her again. In Opal Rain's series, A Soul to Keep, the books after that, I want to say, like, books 4 and upwards, we're getting the gang back together scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was reading, I, like, you can ask my wife, I was like kicking my feet in bed. I was like giggling to myself. I was like, ah, and I was putting like little highlights and like making little notations on Kindle that was like, oh my god, he's here, oh my god, she's here, oh my god, they're here, oh my god, they have a baby, like, you know, that stuff.
Yeah.
And I love those moments. I love it when you're reading a series and the characters from book 1 and book 2
Yes.
make an appearance again in book 4 and book 5.
Or give advice.
Or yes. Or you get to see a life update,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, like, we leave them off in book 1, and then we don't see them till book 3, and she's opened the bakery that she's always wanted to, and she's finally living her dream. Or they have a kid together, and they named the kid after her dead mom, or, like, you know, something like that.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it
yeah.
all just, like, comes together. I love that, because isn't that so lifelike, though?
Yeah.
Is that you see one person in one season of their life, and then, you know, you go into the next, and you don't see them for a while, and then, you know, you have this, like, rekindling, this reunion of, like, this is what's happened. You get to kiki again, and you get to, you know, relive that friendship that you have. And so I love those scenes, which is why I put an abundance of them in my book.
Yeah. Two things.
I said found family.
And they were. Two things. One, I really like going off of what you were just saying, when it's like different timelines, so like you're seeing the story progress, and maybe also like maybe character 1 has a lot of anxiety and is like, oh, I'm not good at my job or whatever, and then you go into book 3 and that person is like, I really admire character 1 because they're really good at their job and they're really competent. So you get to also see, like, isn't that life? Like the different POVs. But I also like, and this is what you're doing, where it's the same timeline, and I guess it scratches the little bit of like mystery lover in my brain, and that I'll just use I'll use your book as an example. There's a few scenes where characters from book 1 and book 2 interact, and in book 1 you're like, oh, this is why this person is acting that way. And then it's kind of rewarding to see book 2 and be like, oh, no, this is what was going on. Or, like, you have a character that, like, runs in and then, like, has, like, a blah, 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 blah. I try not to spoil. And has, like, asking a question, and then you don't really get to why. And then in this second one, you have a character who's, like, keep showing up because you really like them. And it's
I
like...
love her so much.
And it's like, you're like, what's going on with this character? Well, I guess we don't find out. Like, I don't know. And then it's like, boom. And so, like, the concurrent timeline is fun, too. Because it's, like, can be read separately, but also there's this, like, whole very full story that they're all a part of if you, you know, you have you're collecting the timelines. So.
And speaking of timelines, mine is, like, very construed in time. It's very, like, there are multiple universes, I guess, that might not be spoilery, I don't know. And so I have characters from, like, all different types of backgrounds, even in the Fae world itself. And so I think that's another thing that I love that adds on to the, oh, this person is doing this because of this and this. And then you get to that person and they're like, this is actually how it's always been, and this is how I've been living my life.
Yeah.
And it's like a completely different thing.
I think that is a really, what's the word that I'm looking for? Unique element of your Fae world that I really liked and might be stealing for something else. Just the sense of you never know who or when someone could drop in.
I love a misunderstanding trope, like a miscommunication trope. No, hold on.
Okay, I'm holding.
Not in the, like, traditional sense of, like, oh, you know, like, a person just, like, isn't speaking, you know, because they're, like, so in their own mind, and so they're, like, misconstruing the person's word to think that they're cheating on them or that they don't love them. No, not that. Like, that's more like the traditional miscommunication trope. My favorite miscommunication trope is when someone is explaining why or how they do something, and it's, like, very surface level, very base. They're like, yeah, and this is how it's always been because this is the world that I live in.
Yeah.
And the other person is like, oh my god, and they do this because of this reason, and and that means this about their character, which makes me love them even more. And it's like not even that deep, but they're taking it to like the extreme, and it just like develops the relationship more, because I feel like that happens in real life all the time.
I was gonna say, it reminds me of talking about when you move in with a roommate, the dishwasher, and everyone thinks that everyone loads the dishwasher the same way until you have someone from who grew up in a different household. For instance, our dishwasher, it's the same thing. We have 3 or 4 of us that load it, and I can open the thing and I know instantly who it was, because they're all so like slightly different, but in your brain you're like, well, everyone knows that this is how this works.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is how we do it. I will admit, I'm the stacker that don't make sense. That's what I do. If I can fit it in there, it's going in there. I don't care if it looks nice. Your wife is like very neat. And, like, the plates are all facing the same direction. There's equal amount difference. It's never overstuffed. That's not me. It's never going to be me. And it probably is because my dad is Asian and we weren't allowed to use the dishwasher. So it was more like whenever he would come to my apartment, I'm like, hide the dishes and they will get clean. But he can't know I'm using the dishwasher.
Put up the chairs. They can't know that we sit.
Exactly. I'm like, he's just going to think that I don't own more than one plate.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But it's the same thing, like, where you assume that everything is done the way that you do it. And then you zone out. I really like you saying also that person 2 might be like, and I love them for that.
Yes.
Miscommunication is, as a general thing, one of the worst tropes. And I got into a bit with someone because, as an enemies to lovers stan, nowadays there's a lot of like an easy way to do enemies to lovers is to misunderstand and actually they loved each other from day one, and then which I think works, quote unquote, better in contemporary romance, because we like to act that everyone's a good communicator, but they're just not. So of course, like, if you give a stank face to your professor, he's gonna think you hate him even though he thinks you're super hot. I'm thinking of one particular book that could go into a lot of them. And then, like, if it's olden times and you have to write letters and maybe something, gets missed in the mail, that makes sense. But for the most part, that doesn't make sense, and it's annoying because it's like, you're adults. Either, like, stop pining for this person that you hate, or, like, get with them.
Yeah.
But I argue that I prefer enemies to lovers to friends to lovers, because friends to lovers get on my nerve. And I'm like, why have y'all not talked about this? And maybe this is the Libra coming out, where there's only 2 ways for me to have a crush. It's for me to tell the person very early on and be very blunt, and usually that ends the crush for me. Or for me to pine and put them in the category of I will never tell them and never be with them. And then they go get a partner, and I'm like, oh, dang it. Those are the only options. So for me, like, pining for a friend, I think on record, any friend that I've ever had a crush on, I have told them, at least at some point.
Yeah.
Because I just can't live with the secret. So if I haven't told you, I don't have a crush on you.
Period.
Currently. So for me, that miscommunication or it's like mischance, like, oh, they're always with someone or whatever. I'm like, well, it's not meant to be then. Back it up. I don't care.
Yeah.
Y'all are annoying me. Or when you're pining for someone and they have a partner, and I know it's the morals, real world versus morals in a book, whatever, but they're having a partner, and then you're not treating the partner well, but the partner didn't do anything wrong. They're just not the main character of this book. That pisses me off.
Yeah.
So friends to lovers, shit or get off the pot. Enemies to lovers, stab them, and that's fine. Put that on a t-shirt. Might be a little long, but
I love friends to lovers. You know what? I'm not sorry.
Don't be sorry.
I am
that word.
unapologetic about it. I just think it's the most realistic. Not everyone has an arch nemesis.
And you know
Get
what?
over yourself.
No, I need an arch nemesis.
You don't have one.
But I need one. We literally talked about this, last night? Or the night before?
Yes.
We were watching Modern Family.
Yeah.
I want to force my enemy to bury my bones.
No.
I think that sounds sick as hell.
I think that sounds traumatic as fuck.
You know, but that's why I'll die first.
No, I think friends to lovers is the most realistic. I do hate that in a lot of more contemporary
Mhm.
books, you do have the heavy miscommunication of a friends to lovers. But like, I don't know. I just feel like that happens more.
I like the friends to lovers when there's a hint of enemies to lovers within it.
Oh my gosh.
Because, okay, so I was thinking about it, and I was like, there's 2 friends to lovers books that I really like. I thought were really well done. One is, which the movie will be coming out soon, is The People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. I say like that anytime someone says friends to lovers, I like want to wreck. That's the one I give, because as a hater, I do really enjoy that one. And then also Kate Canterbury wrote In a Jam, which is a like childhood friends, and then like they separate like because of life and circumstances, and then fake dating, fake marriage of convenience kind of deal.
Yeah.
And then they fall for each other. Spoiler alert. Spoiler. Happy ever after. And it's so cute and it's so good, and I really love that one. And I don't know, somehow they make it work. I guess Emily Henry is really good at making things very realistic. And so like I really appreciate that one, and like I felt like their fights were really, it did have that trope that I just mentioned that I don't like of like the partner, where like there's way to do that. A lot of people either make the partner like cartoonishly bad, or they really lean into like we are just not meant to be, which is also very like realistic. I would rather them be a normal person who is just not working out and we all handle it like adults, than for them actually to be like twirling their evil mustache as they tie you to a train track, and that's why you can date your friend now, and it's cool. And I hate cheating.
Yeah.
Can't.
No,
agree.
I don't.
I can't stand. I'm not gonna name them. I've read 2 or 3 books by them because I got tricked. Because one was YA, and then I think I read 2 YA and one, or maybe I just read 2. I don't know, but one was YA, one was contemporary, but I didn't realize it was the same. And both of them, the whole book is like heavy cheating, or it didn't even need to be. Like, the partner and you are on the outs and you just haven't said no yet, and so you cheat right before you break up, but you're gonna break up anyway, and like it like that, just break up. Like why is that a plot point? And in that one the partner wasn't even in the book. Like they just were texting. They did not, like, it would not have changed, it would have made the book better if they weren't dating someone to begin with, because it didn't stop them. Like, you know, it wasn't a whatever. But then the second one is about writing duo, and it's very like, this is our life but not really, because it's a book and it's fake, and that made me not like them and like ban them forever. And I was like, I can't stand you guys.
Not the banning forever.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of authors on my do not read. I don't have a lot of people that I wouldn't give second chances to.
Yeah.
Besides like the big ones, like the chosen ones. Do you have, I mean, obviously don't name them, but do you have a lot of authors on your...
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm already pretty selective with what I read anyway, because my brain. No, not really.
That's crazy.
Also, a lot of the authors that I got major beef with are dead.
I mean,
facts. I was a AP English, AP Lit student, so like I got beef with some of these hoes that haven't been alive since the 1800s. So
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, now if they came back to life and started writing books, then you wouldn't even imagine the smear campaign that I would be on Threads.
It would be comprehend. Yeah.
Yes.
I do the 3 strike rule, because it could just be that you picked up the book that's not for you. Especially if I can tell that they're a good author, but that book was not it. Then I'm like, okay, I'll give you another chance. If you have a plot that sounds good, I'll read it. I'm definitely not going to say this person's name, but there is an author who I read one book by them, and I was like, I hate everything about this. I never want these words to cross my eyes again. And then, through happenstance, sometimes I get tricked into reading things. I read another book by them, and I was like, this is really cute. And then I realized it was them, and I was like, oh. So I was like, okay, 3 strikes. I'll download another one of their books, because obviously I like their writing. I just didn't like what they wrote. And so then I read other stuff by them, and now, like, I really, like, they're I'm going to keep reading by them. It was just that one.
Yeah.
That wasn't for me. There's another very popular romance author, of which maybe I have alluded to already in this conversation. There was one book by them that I violently hate. I wish that book never existed and it was burned in a fire. I hate it so much. And maybe it's because they didn't pick the brother I would have chosen.
Okay.
Not their brother.
Okay.
I'm just making sure. It's not this particular.
How dark are we getting here?
This one's pretty light.
Okay, then yeah, I would hope not.
I would stop giving hints. I hate that book so much, but I love the author, and everything else they've written is like, if not a 4, at least a 5, like a 5 or 4.
Yeah.
Instant buy. Don't even have to tell me what the plot is. Gonna read it.
Period.
Except for that one. And if I had read that one first, I don't know that I would have picked up the rest of their stuff. I would have been like, all of you guys are smoking crack cocaine. I'm not reading this stuff by them.
Oh, man,
so
yeah.
I wonder what that's going to be for me. You know?
Oh, my God, yeah.
Because a lot of people are reading Squash. Not a lot of people have ventured over to Planted yet. I feel like Planted, I take myself a lot more seriously. Squash was like, this is for you, meaning you, Alex, and me, E. And that's, like, anyone else, they can have a hoot and a holler, but this is for us. And then Planted, I was like, dang, this is serious. I gotta lock in.
That's how I felt about What the Water Gave. I was like, this is for you. And it, you know.
Yeah. And I think maybe that's why we love these characters so much. Because I wasn't thinking about the rest of the world.
I wrote you a dark and mysterious...
Yeah. I think about that
like
all the time.
Shadowy, kind of like dramatic ass guy. You wrote me a himbo, and you had a hard time writing the dramatic, shadowy type figure, and I had a really hard time finding my himbo.
Which is, ain't that life, baby? Like,
that's
I think
crazy.
I honestly think about that all the time because like when I'm writing, I think that is so funny because if that hasn't been clear, I'm the like. Enemies to lovers, I like my guy in a book mean. Like, especially if he's Fae. If it's Fae, they're not gonna be nice. I make a lot of allowances for those type of men than I would than, like, Joe, like we said last time. Joe from IT Blonde Joe from IT cannot put his hands on me or be mean. Fae, absolutely. And so when you wrote What the Water Gave, and I read it, we talked about this last episode too, where the main girl, slight spoiler, but she wants a kid, and that's a very big part of her story, or her arc, I would say, not maybe her story. And that, at the time when you were writing it, like, a little deep, but just put my toe in, I was having issues, like, infertility stuff, and, like, going through that, and then it's, like, this dark, mysterious, like, mean, broody guy, and, like, also, like, some of the things they get up to, you know, and I'm like, this is for me. And I'm over here, the Enemies to Lovers Stan, writing Insta-Love with a monster. He is a monster, you know. With that, it's not alien because it's not from outer space, but is alien in the sense of not from Earth. Whatever.
Yeah.
Writing this guy who doesn't belong here.
Oh,
just kidding.
Whoa.
Just kidding. This monster who's a himbo and that they're really sweet. He's like obsessed with her, which that's your bag. And yeah, then we kind of did a half-see swaps on the book 2 because I feel like your guy in book 2 is smarter than Gordy. He has to remember that he has emotional intelligence. Your guy is pretty good at that when it's like there's a call for it.
Yeah.
When the scene needs it, not the scene, but like when the scenario needs it, he can lock in. Armor. Yeah, he's more of a paladin, and my guy like can't put his shoes on, you know? R.I.P. Gordy, you're my fave. But, and then for Duke, I kept coming to and be like, can he say that? Are people gonna hate him if he says that? Is that allowed?
And like double down, go harder, actually.
Yeah. So I just think that's very funny. We swapped our genres, wrote books for each other for our first books, and then had to like come crawling back. I don't know what these voices
and it's so funny too because like you would think that the two tropes are actually very common.
Yeah.
Like a golden retriever boyfriend, that's not new. Shadow Daddy, that's also not new.
Yeah.
But when it's not like your niche, it is hard because you're like, how do I get into the mind? If you're like me, if you're used to writing the more like dramatic, kind of like stoic characters, you're like, how am I supposed to get into the brain of someone who is like a golden retriever?
Yeah.
Who is just like super nice initially.
I think our advice to each other, now that I'm like reflecting on it, was the same advice. But because when we gave it, one of us was panicking and the other one was like standing behind them, it sounded fresh. Because I think what we said to each other was like, okay, like just do it. Like like don't overthink it. Because for me, with Duke, I was like, he's whiny. I wouldn't say he's broody. Like he's not dark and mysterious. You know something's wrong, but he's a little bitch. Complimentary, love him. And so I was like, is this gonna come off too emo? Is he too mean? Blah blah blah. And you're like, so what? Like, let him. Like, and if you need to walk it back later, you can, but like put that down. And I was like, no. And then for like the himbo, I think I was like, when I read it the first time for you, I was like, he could be dumber. Like, he's actually kind of smart right now. And she's like, no, he's not. But yeah, I do think that's funny because I would read your book, just list of trope wise, not even just the fact that you wrote it and I did read it, but like list of trope wise, that's what I would pick up time and time again. And I think with the obsessed golden retriever, hard working woman, like that's what you would go to. Weird peen, got it.
Yes.
You know, we obviously do crossover read those things, but that's not like our main read. Writing on a niche is hard. Yeah. But I also feel like I felt a lot of pressure, or I have felt pressure in other projects where I'm writing things that are closer to what I read, because I know what I like, and if it's not meeting, maybe that's like the standard. If it's not meeting that standard, I like rework it. Also, it's hard to write characters that are mean when you like the people they're being mean to. For the Big Whip, I like all of the 4 POVs. I'm a little bit in love with all of them. You know, these are my sons, you know. And so right now they don't all like each other, and it makes me want to cry a little bit. I'm like, I hate writing I'll say this character's name, Sebastian. He's the himbo of the Big Whip. Now that's going to be the name, the Big Whip. But I have one scene in particular where in my brain, you know, Snoopy, well, you don't watch Arrested Development, but in Arrested Development, they have this, like, Good Grief episode where they all do, like, the Charlie Brown walk, and they're like, whatever. That's how I feel, like, shoved him outside in the cold, where he has to pee in the trees, and, like, no one is coming to check on him. And it's literally lasts for, like, 3 or 4 chapters, like, that are still taking place in the same night. And I'm like, I can't believe I did this. This character was supposed to die. Like, this character was not supposed to be, like, a big pivotal character, but I loved him so much, and he was so pitiful that I was like, actually, come on, come back inside. You get a collar. What's like, like, so I don't know. I really struggle with letting my characters be mean, because I struggle, I think, being mean.
And I'd constantly tell Elsie, be more mean. Actually, you could have been meaner.
Yeah, she does. It's a likability. I still want them to be likable. And I was talking to, I always say it wrong, K.L. Hill or K.H. Hill. We'll put up a thing. But about this when we had talked for their podcast, and they were like, it's okay if people don't like him at first. Like, that's okay. And I'm like, no, it's not. They need to love him as much as I do.
Also, some people are crazy.
Ooh.
You ever thought about that?
What do you mean by that? Clarify.
I mean, some people will inevitably someone will like him. And it'll be for something small. Book 2 had so many different variants. The plot changed dramatically. The characters all changed dramatically. And at one point, who is now the father figure character used to be the villain, actually. And as I was writing him, and as he was having these scenes with my FMC, I was like, oh no, people might like him. Yeah, like, people might ship them together, you know, because that's the dynamic that they had. And I was like, no. So I had to walk it back. Because as I was getting further and further into it, I realized, oh, like, this could potentially, like, be something.
That's an odd world, having read book 2 now.
Exactly. Well, because everything changed so much.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, because I just want to get to the point where someone writes fan fiction of my books. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, you love me that much?
That's, yeah.
And so I didn't want to live in a world. I didn't want to live in a world where that could have been a possibility. I was like, all right, nope, I gotta change it.
Speaking of fanfic and also, like, our crossover, this can be a long conversation on a different episode or whatever. We both have head canons of each other's stories.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think is so funny. So famously, in real life, this is real life, don't describe people's appearance when I'm talking about them. And so I have a friend who I described for a year.
Yeah.
to Alex, and they envisioned them in their head in a way that is completely different from what they actually look like.
I'm talking.
Also, I don't know why I never
180.
showed you a picture either. Like, I was just like, this person, we all know this person.
Yeah.
You don't need to see. So eventually, even now, they still, like, have flashes of that person in their head. So you can imagine, as we are talking about whips, not, like, books that we've already read of each other's, but, like, stuff that we're working on, we, like, autocomplete scenes. So, like, in my head, I've written, like, 5 fanfics for you. I wrote a poem for The Devil's Desire. What do you think, talking about readers and, like, your connection to your characters, has been, like, a surprising take? Or you're like, oh, I didn't intend for that to go that way, or, like, I didn't know that they were gonna like this character, or, like...
I don't have that.
Yeah?
Not that many people read my books, bestie.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Number 6.
I don't...
Number 6, in the devils and demons category.
Yeah.
So you get it while it's hot.
You're like, and so what do the masses think about your characters? And I'm like, you mean you? What do you think about my character?
And you know what? Let's talk about that. I think the most surprising thing for me is having it be revealed to me how much all of my friends are little freaks.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting better. I still feel like my entourage is better at being like, and she writes smut, and this is what it is, and y'all should buy it, and it's weird. And I'm like, oh, yeah, like, okay, like, in, like, day-to-day life. Because someone asked recently, like, how secret is your pen name? And mine is, like, within my life circle, non-existent. But there's a separation between this and, like, this name and, like, what I put out versus, like, you know?
Yeah.
But, like, in the, like, the small bit of, like, the town, I guess, not so much. And so what surprised me is, like, when I was first talking about it, like, obviously we were Kiki and we didn't care, we were there, but spreading it out to, like, other people and being like, so I wrote this book, you can get it if you want, this is what the cover looks like, but, like, he's a squash. And then people were like, huh? And I'm like, a squash, you heard me. Nothing more, nothing less. Well, a little bit more.
A little bit more, actually.
Actually, there's a penis. So, he's a man, actually. And they do it and whatever. So, like, book 1, I was really scared and, like, really, like, oh, like, I'm gonna be, peddling smut to my friends and whatever. But they got so far into it, I'm having to, like, fight back ideas. Like, one of our, and you know who I'm talking about, one of our mutual friends, every time I bring up the story, they're like, and also this. What if this? And I was like, I simply don't have the plot for these ideas. Like, there's too many. I'm flush with ideas. And, like, none of our friends would ever write something like this.
No.
But, boy, do they pitch things that, guys, I can't tell you because maybe one day I'll use it, but you can't even fathom the filth that comes out of what I thought were my friends.
These, like, normal,
very normal
20s aged girls, really,
who aren't reading within this genre. Like, a few of them have ventured because like they read Ghostlight Falls, so, like, they've seen other things, but most of Ghostlight Falls, the only 2 of us really did sentient. Most of it was, like, monster or alien, you know. There's a big variety, which was really nice. But, so they've, like, dipped their toes into the well. And they've heard me. I've how this really started is I used to describe things to them that I would read. And they would be interested in that way because, like, you know.
Yeah.
I'm aghast every time. Like, they're out freaking me.
Mm-hmm.
And, again, they just won't write it. So, like, there's the purse book that I mentioned last pod that I did write a little bit on, is based off of, like, a joke that, like, one of my other friends made. And then I was like, I'll write it. And then next thing I know, everyone's adding different things and, like, out freaking and, oh, you got to do this and blah, blah, blah. So if that one gets made, it's just a full love letter to my friends who can't help. But I have people outside of, like, the big friends, the big, like, you know, see them all the time group that will DM me and be like, saw a pickle today. You should do something with that. And I'm like, no, or maybe, but, like, I don't know you. I'm scared.
Why are you in my house?
What part of I'm an introvert makes you think DM me a pickle? Like, I mean, it's very, very sweet. It's very sweet. It's just scary. We talked about this a lot, and this rounds us right back to the beginning. Being perceived is terrifying.
Oh my gosh, yes. The idea of being seen, the idea of being heard outside of your echo chamber,
Mm-hmm.
it's frightening, truly. And like I said, conceptualizing 2,000 people,
Yeah.
terrifying.
I think, okay, tell me if this is crazy.
It's crazy.
Period. My evil ex. So I also do photography. Not as often as I used to, but, you know.
You says as she literally took our family holiday pictures, but okay, go off, queen.
But it's just fun. Like, I'm never gonna do it, like, I mean, I will do it for profit, but I'll never do it as, like, a job.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that my evil ex said, they didn't like photography and poems for the same reason, because it's a snapshot of one exact moment, and then that's it forever. Which is the complete opposite of why I love those things, because it's so rare that we get to see something so intense of one single second.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a poem can capture a moment that's very fleeting, and so can a photo. What I'm getting to with writing, I think having eyes pushes me to want to write more, especially, this is the weird part, especially when it's smut, because I don't want to just have the squash man out there and people be like, oh, Elsie is into this and all the kinks that are presented in here.
Yes.
And that is it, and I've read it, I'm done. I want people to know I contain multitudes, and also challenge myself to do different things. So, like, with the Defined and Defiled, it ends with a happy for now, which, and he doesn't change, spoiler, kind of, but he doesn't change into a person. Like, he's a book, and he stays a book. And that was very intentional. That was a challenge I wanted to give myself, because in Hornicopia, they have human forms, and I really wanted to, like, be like, how weird can I be? Like, can he just be what he is, and, like, that's it? Mm-hmm. And some people didn't like it, and some people were like, oh, this is different, you know, whatever. So it kind of, having the eyes forces me to, maybe it's my anti being told what to do. Period. Where it forces me to be like, no, I can also do this, and oh, this time it's this dynamic, and like, oh, we did 2 peens, what if I do 5? What can I do with that? Mm-hmm. How do we stack them? You know, like,
how do we stack them?
This is real, because I think I've walked this back, so I don't think I'm gonna do that, but if I do, then you know where this idea comes from. Mm-hmm. But for the alien one, I was like, I can be as weird as I want.
Yeah.
6, you know, like, hey, I said we walked it back, but girl, there was a time, you know, I thought you were walking down this path with me, but looking at your face, you're not.
I'm just confused.
You weak monster. Sometimes the penis is different.
And
again. So now we know that you can just beat that, but now we know that you dox me when you get too silly.
This is episode 2. Give me some fucking grace.
No, I think it's a fun bit, as long as it's beeped.
Elsie.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay, first of all, when they're different, it's like I'm not going to say it right. it's like, you know, the that.
Were they open?
Yeah.
Was opening?
Yeah.
Or ridged, or the one I told you about where it was two and they were tangled together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why can't I do that?
You can!
You know what this reminds me of?
Hmm.
The 8 Husbands.
8 husbands, 3 penises collective.
those are your hard rules.
Yes.
Also,
my hard rules. Oh.
Girl. Get out of here. That's my joke.
Okay,
See?
I'll leave.
Tell them about the teeth. So, one of my characters in this upcoming project, I'm trying to work on, what's the word? Like, not duology, the, like, balance. Mm-hmm. So, it's a 3, like, it's a poly relationship, 2 male presenting, and then 1 female presenting person, like human. And so, I knew that one of the characters is going to have very sharp teeth. Or I know that. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, well, if everything's, like, balanced and they're, like, each other's partners, what does that mean? And then my brain was like, no teeth. Which...
Cursed.
Yeah. The way that the rest of their body is going to be, hate it, actually. Don't like that. I'm sure... And then I started thinking later last night, and I was like, I could write someone with no teeth. Like a monster. Definitely can. Like, there's a way. But for him particularly, no. And then... which I don't know if they're going to use this for anything or if it's just a bit, but the conversation of flaccid teeth has been coming up a lot lately in one of the group chats, and so I was like, could do that, but also hate that a lot. I ended up on rounded. Also, this person is like, doesn't really eat meat, so it makes sense that they would have like rounded teeth, and like is this gonna come up? Like, are people gonna be asking me, like, holding me at gunpoint, what's the teeth situation? No. But it's something in my brain. And so I was pitching it last night to Alex and her wife, and they were like, whale teeth.
Oh, yes. I'm team whale teeth. One just giant comb.
Mm-hmm. I guess it could tickle. I don't know. We'll see. Stop. Y'all can't see the face that I just witnessed and be thankful for it.
Oh my gosh.
You know what? No. The demons are like, you can do well, you can make it work. But at this point in time, the demons have not won. There will be signs if they win, and the signs are whale teeth. Alien and monster is hard for me. We talked about this. Starting from scratch. Like, because at least the squash guy, squash and eggplant are real. Mm-hmm. Some might say. And then they turn into humanoids.
Yeah.
Which, yes, there's some weird stuff within that. Like, Gordy has access to his vines. They have vine hair. And, like, eggplant is one of those plants that can, like, flower and, like, change, like, they're kind of asexual. I feel like I'm saying that biology incorrectly, but that's, like, that's the idea of what I read. Mm-hmm. They can self-flower. So, there's, like, different things with that I, like, included. And, moving forward, like with other vegetables, there are going to be some other weird things that people can do because they have their own vegetables. But for the most part, pretty humanoid, there's a thing that exists. Richard in Defined and Defiled is a book. I don't know if you know that. They exist. He's specifically a dictionary. For now. Oh, man. I agreed with you that I got scared. The horrors persist. He's a dictionary, and that exists. So it's like a puzzle of where I work backwards. This thing exists. How do I manipulate it for this story? Or if this was in this situation, how would that work? How would a book that doesn't have legs or arms do A or B? How would a squash get around? How would an eggplant roll around, you know? So that's kind of like a puzzle. But when you're creating a monster completely from scratch, where it's not like a monster that exists and you're just putting it in a new story or whatever, but like, this is fresh from my brain. Mm-hmm. That's hard. If no one's gonna pitch it, I'll pitch it.
I fear you're gonna have to wait.
I know. I'm still trying to get the Devil's Desire book 2 off the ground, so I'm nothing if not patient. I've been told if that so mind you, I read it. We weren't together at that time, like living together.
People are gonna
The
listen to this and
allegations.
think.
How many times can we mention your wife and Uncle Rain?
Mhm.
But we weren't. But I remember I finished The Devil's Desire, and I messaged you, and I was like, am I crazy, or are you, like, am I shipping things that haven't been shipped before, or is this intentional? And you were like, I could do something with that. Like, I've been, like, that was, you left the door cracked for yourself.
Yes.
It's not, I say cracked because it's not open to the point that I feel like you're dissatisfied if there's not a book 2. It's not like that. It's just, you can definitely see, like, oh, this could be setting up something else, you know?
I definitely do have a draft of book 2 and a plot.
And you've been holding it?
Yeah, hostage.
Without me?
Yes.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Because I really like that character. I like both of them, but I'm not going to say who it is, but...
These fae demons are taking up prime real estate in my brain. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Well, it's not okay, but I will wait. That also is another thing that sucks about living with you.
And on that note, we are so over time.
No. I'll finish that thought on the next episode.
Okay.
Well, that's not how I meant it, but I'll clarify later. I've been E.
And I'm A.
Bye.